Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career. Yep. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the Sportz Nutz. Hey, this is episode 46. Good grief. Actually, it's technically 82 because we have a lot of like other videos that go along in this, but still, hey, it's episode officially 46. Guys, we have a jam-packed episode for you. We have some college football talk. We have a special guest who is he is in backstage right now. Kind of a little hint as to what I'm wearing, where he originated from. He is a fantastic wide receiver. I actually idolized him when I played football and how I could become a better wide receiver. Even though I was a tight end, I still played wide receiver. I was more of a receiving tight end than I was a blocking tight end. Hey, our good friend Matt will be here in just a moment. He is logging on now. Cannot wait to have him on. Guys, it has been a whirlwind of a week here in South Carolina. My daughters, they had 2 days off this week. It's just how their calendar goes. It's kind of interesting how they do that, in South Carolina. But hey, I had fun spending time with them and fun spending time with my wife. Guys, we have made it to Thursday. Yes, it's unusual to see us on a Thursday. I know we're Tuesday and we're Friday, but hey, though, it's because we have such a great guest on the show today. Before we go any further, we want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Tequilas. Guys, if you're looking for affordable, delicious, and authentic Mexican cuisine, Tequilas Grill and Easily is where you want to be. From everybody's favorite, including mine, the queso, Matt's favorite, which is the homemade salsa bar, the taquitos, the chimichangas, the tacos. My wife absolutely loves their fajita bar. If you guys want to know it, they have it. Give them a call today for planning your birthday events or corporate events. 864-307-8028. Better yet, stop on by 5155 Calhoun Memorial Highway, Easley, South Carolina, 29640. Again, that's Tequila's Grill in Easley. All right, guys, I can't thank this gentleman that I'm about to bring on more than anything. Like I said, I'm actually really excited to have it up. Now, just remember where he is located. He is actually behind here right now. It is 7:32 Eastern in Hawaii. It is 1:32, which is where he is located. So I hope you guys are ready to see one of college football's greatest wide receivers. And I'm not saying it just because he really was. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ashley Lelie. Ashley, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm awesome. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm really good. And like I said, I'm kind of a fanboy here because, like I said, I idolized you for my game. I played. So I'm 40 years old. I just aged myself there a little bit too much. But I played from 7th grade all the way up until my senior year in high school. I unfortunately had a career-ending injury. I tore my ACL and MCL in 2002. I loved football, but I didn't have that love. And then when I started watching you, one of my favorite games you played was against BYU. And everybody knows about the BYU kind of matchup with Hawaii. But, just a way my wife was like, what was so good about him? I said, it's kind of like you had like glue on your hands. You caught almost everything that was thrown your way, right?
Yeah, I don't remember dropping anything. Yeah.
Let me ask you this real quick. What was your favorite game that you played when you were at Hawaii? What was your absolute favorite game?
Probably Fresno State, 2001, I believe. We played Carr, I think David Carr, Derek's older brother, was the quarterback at Fresno State, and they were ranked I think they were ranked like 17. They just lost the week before, and then they came into our house and then we beat them last second, like a last second touchdown. So that's
Oh
probably,
man,
yeah.
I,
Where,
I
where
can.
were you in South Carolina? Actually, real quick, where are you in South Carolina?
I'm in Easley. I am about 15 minutes outside of Greenville. My wife is from Easley. I'm actually from Roswell, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
my dad
Matt.
lives in Buford. That's what I was asking.
Oh, Buford. Okay. Now
Yeah.
Matt lives in Buford. Well, Buford, Georgia.
Well, I live in Northwest. I work. I'm always in Buford. Always in
Yeah.
Buford.
Okay.
So he's kind of like that area. But Matt and I have actually known each other for over 20 years. We played basketball together. That's actually how him and I met, was through a basketball league. And Matt, I will tell you. So his nickname for me, I actually called him, was Springs. Bless you. Is Springs, because he used to be. I called him that because he was spring-loaded legs. The dude could. Matt, tell him what your vertical was.
Back then, about 45 inches. Back in my younger,
How tall are you? How tall are you?
6 feet. 6 feet tall.
Oh man, yeah, you're still jumping out the gym.
I should have played football though. I blame my older cousin to this day. I had everything to be. I could be a DB or a running or receiver in football. I should have won football.
Yeah, you're big. Yeah, you're considered big for football. Basketball, yeah. You're tiny.
Exactly.
I'm 6'5", so yeah, I was good for the tight end range. I was actually a power forward when I played basketball, and Matt can tell you he did quite a few numbers on me when we played. No joke. I think Matt actually, Matt, you almost dunked on me a couple times, didn't you?
Actually, I did, Brendan. I did. That's not misconception.
We're not going to talk about that. Come on now. We got to hype up the fact. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's been, Ashley, Matt is a great person. He's a great friend. We actually have quite a few mutual friends. One of them, funny story. The way Matt and I met was, his name is Brian. Told me Matt played for the Atlanta Hawks, and I was like, oh well, hey, let's get him on our team. I'm like, I'm totally down for it, right? So when I go, Matt, Brian was sitting here telling me that you played for the Atlanta Hawks. He goes, I cannot believe he told you that. And I think Matt said it's because he tried out for the NBA D League for the Atlanta Hawks. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, it was like an affiliate. This is back before it was it was the D League, I believe. Yes, it was the D League.
It was called the D League back then. Called the G League right now, but that is another thing. All right, go. All right, so let me ask you this, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to Coach Rollo or Nick Rolovich in a while? Because obviously, things are not looking too promising right now with the UH football team. And I don't know if you've seen some of the comments that have been all over social media. Is Timmy Chang is now apparently the third worst coach in UH history. I mean, do you agree with that synopsis or what?
No. Why is that off his record, or?
I think that's what it is. Yeah, off of his record.
Oh, well, statistically, you can't argue with statistics, but I don't think he's that bad of a coach. I just think he's dealt a bad hand. And I mean, the whole NIL thing, we can get into a whole different thing with that. But we don't even have a stadium.
Oh, yes.
So we don't even have a stadium. Then trying to recruit players to come out there and play on the island, he's already, batting from behind because we're on the island out here. But that stadium also just doesn't help very much. So, yeah, I think he's just dealt a bad hand. But I don't think he's that bad of a coach. I actually think he's a pretty good coach.
Okay. Matt, you have a question for him. Go ahead.
Hey, Ashley, first of all, thanks a lot for coming on, man. We really, really, really appreciate it. We were able to kind of follow you for a bit and go up to your career as well. Can you kind of explain to us, I guess we're going to start kind of in the college. What made you decide to, go to the University of Hawaii, and how was your collegiate career there? Like, kind of briefly, kind of just take us through your whole collegiate career as far as ups, downs for the people that don't know.
Yeah. So I went to high school in Hawaii as well. And my junior year, I think we won one game. And then my senior year, we didn't win anything. We lost every game my senior year. 1 second. Hey, Ray, grab him real quick.
No problem. No problem.
The joys of being a parent.
Yeah. And then my senior year, we lost every game. So I didn't have it, and we were a triple option team. So I think my stats for my senior year in high school was I had 9 catches, 100 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was my stats for my senior year. Long story short, I had to walk on. I didn't get any offers, so I walked on at UH. And so I walked on at UH. My redshirt freshman year, we went 0-12 with Van Oppen. So I think that's now like 0-20 so far. And I'm going 2 years. And then they fired Coach Van Oppen and then hired June Jones the next season. And that season I ended up getting the starting role at receiver. He brought in the run and shoot, and we had the greatest turnaround in NCAA history that year in '99 and won the at that time we were in the WAC. So we won the WAC championship that year. So that was my redshirt freshman year. I'm still paying my own way. Then that next year, I think we won 3 games. We didn't do that great, but as a team, but I still think I had over 1,000 yards. So that was kind of a down year, but it was still kind of rebuilding because June was such a great coach. He was able to help us win that WAC championship off of the seniors we had, left over in the roster when he came. And after all the seniors left, it was kind of a rebuilding year, my sophomore year. And then at the end of that season, I finally got a scholarship. So that was kind of like the beginning of the highlight because I didn't have to go work anymore. School was paid for. I could just concentrate on football. And then that next season was 2001, and we just went on a tear. I think we went 9-3, maybe, if my memory is right. We beat a couple nationally ranked teams. I broke a few records. I guess that was probably, to back up, going into that year, so scouts usually don't come out to Hawaii, really. So they always send like one scout that'll represent the whole league, right? And that year was he was a scout for the Eagles. So he was coming out to kind of like, verticals, 40s, and all that kind of stuff before going into that 2001 year. And going into it, I ran a 4.25 going into that year. So that kind of got some buzz going into that final year. And then, we went on a tear, and then, I think I had 1,700 yards and like 19 touchdowns, just crazy. A lot of played really well in a lot of nationally televised games. So that kind of just skyrocketed my stock. And I went in and talked to Coach Jones after that season and what should I do? And he was like, yeah, you'd be stupid to stay, so yeah, declare, and it was fun having you around. So the rest was history after that. So going to school, now to answer your question about going to school in Hawaii, it was fun in the sense that we lived in Hawaii. Yeah. You got the beaches, perfect weather all the time. But most of the kids that went to the school that were from there, they didn't stay in the dorms. They went home. So it was a commuter school. So it wasn't really like a college town. And then everybody who stayed in the dorms were athletes, like all the volleyball players, baseball players, everybody stayed there. The only people that stayed in the dorms really were the athletes or like foreigners. So it was, I enjoyed it, but, hearing from a lot of my teammates in the league about their times in school, it didn't compare. The only thing I think we had going for us was I can go to the beach after practice pretty much. Which is still, that's why I moved back to Hawaii because I love this place. So, I guess the lows was really going 0-12 my true freshman year. That was and being a redshirt and not really, being able to help the team much except at practice, and then being, at the games, I was in the stands, wasn't on the sideline. So, you're getting heckled all the time by fans. You know, like, oh, this team is trash, and you can't even suit up. So imagine how good you are, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Game. So, but it was all in good fun though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Another question I have to piggyback off of that, man.
Mhm.
Every kid that plays football, of course, their dream is to get drafted in the first round of the NFL.
Yeah.
Can you just take us up to? I guess I know you said some scouts came and looked at you, but as far as I'm not sure if you attended the combine or not. But as far as like maybe a pro day or however you guys did it, how did that go? And lead us up to draft day, to the time you actually heard your name called, and after that, what's the process like after you get drafted?
Yeah. So yeah, I went to the combine, but I didn't do anything at the combine. I was advised not to by my agents because it could only hurt my status at the time. I don't think.
Uh-oh. He'll come back. He might have got dropped. Remember, so guys, just to give you a little notice about that. In Hawaii, they have Spectrum internet, and as everybody knows, Spectrum is not exactly the best internet that there is.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens. He is coming back now.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good.
You're good.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
We were just saying, I was like, in Hawaii, they have, they do have Hawaii Telecom, but they have a lot of issues with Spectrum in general. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what one of the problems was with Spectrum.
Actually, I'm not even in range to get Spectrum. I have Hawaii Telecom. I'm like, I'm on the Big Island, and I'm in between Hilo and Kona on the south side of it.
Ooh, yeah, you literally are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we're in the country. We're in the country out here. But to finish what I was saying, so I was advised not to run or do anything at the combine because I was going to be one of the top 2 receivers. It was me and Dante Stallworth. I really couldn't, again, like you said, I could only hurt myself. So I went, interviewed with a lot of teams, which was a pretty cool process, sitting in the room face to face with like Bill Belichick and, Mike Shanahan and Sean Payton, like just all the big Cowher, like all the big time coaches at the time, you're getting to sit face to face. So that was kind of like being at the combine and then seeing all the other players, Julius Peppers and everybody, all the big time names in that draft at the combine. I thought it was a pretty cool experience. And I felt like, it's about to happen kind of thing. So then after the combine, I think my your pro day has to be either at your college or within like 30 miles or something like that of where you're from, right? So technically I guess I could say I'm from Hawaii because I went to high school there. Then my college was there, but then a lot of scouts did not want to come to Hawaii to do my pro day. So then I was born in Los Angeles. So I got the loophole to be able to have my pro day at St. Monica's. I think it's a junior high school down in Santa Monica. So I had my pro day there. It went pretty cool. So we did the 40 first, which was kind of a mistake, I think, because I ran the 40, ran a 4.31, and then blew out my hamstring. Like running through. So I couldn't really do any of the pass drills or anything like that. So I had to like kind of stand in place and catch, but my hamstring was kind of shot. So that's what I was thinking. It's kind of ruined it because I went all out in the 40. So then me running the 4.31 was kind of cool, but that same day Dante Stallworth had his, and I think he ran a 4.25 or something, 4.2 something. He killed it on his pro day. So now I'm like, well, shit. Now I'm definitely going to be the second receiver pick. But I still have one more chance, because now, again, my parents live in South Carolina at the time. So I was able to have one more pro day at South Carolina to do all the receiving stuff, like catching, run routes, and stuff like that. So I had that like a few weeks later, and that went well. I don't think I dropped anything. Ran some pretty good routes. But it was just kind of just to finish off the pro day before. Then after that, I don't think I had an agent yet. No, I did have an agent before that. I had an agent before that. So to not miss that process, before all my pro days, I had like maybe 10 agents come, interview. We interviewed at my house, at my parents' house in South Carolina, which was also a really cool process. It was cool just to kind of see that part of it, seeing the ones that kind of promise you things that in the back of your head, like they can't really. Your rookie contract, they don't really control anything, too much in a sense. So it was kind of fun seeing that, and then having my parents being a part of that process was pretty cool. So then we ended up going with Octagon, which at the time was Ray Anderson was going to be Ray Anderson was going to be my point of contact with that organization. And then Doug Hendrickson was his assistant. Can we hold that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
My mom real quick. Remember I was telling you?
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, no worries. All right, so I took him off so he can talk to his mom. He is supposed to get dimensions for a mailing package, so no worries. While we're waiting for him to get his conversation with his mom, Ashley, all you gotta do is just do this when you're ready to come back on. Okay, just stick your thumbs up that you heard me. So he's talking to his mom right now. I don't want to obviously have anybody hear personal business on that one, but let me tell you this, Matt.
Yeah.
And, he's talking about like the campaign that he went through when June took over.
Yeah.
And they were really bad. 98, they went 0-12, like he said. June came over. They went from 0-12 to 9-4 in a 1-year turnaround.
That's crazy.
Amazing.
That's crazy
how they did that. Yes, they did have a struggling year in 2000. They only went 3-9. However, 2001 happened. I believe they went 9-3, and then they just took off from there with June. And it was, a lot of fun getting to, turn the TV on and get to watch randomly out of the blue University of Hawaii on television, and when was the last time you could sit there and say, I stayed up and I watched the whole University of Hawaii football game? It's almost virtually impossible,
Yeah.
And, when you see the accolades that Ashley has accomplished in his life, I know he's talking, so I'm not going to go too much. I'm definitely eager to hear him talk, and we will see what he says. In the meantime, I just want to quickly get you guys know that for the Sportz Nutz is actually shooting for a live on location coming in mid-November. We will iron out that date. Just want to let you know. And I don't know if you were seeing. Nope. I think he's talking to his mom still. So we're ironing out the details for live on location again at Tequila's, and Matt is extremely excited about coming up and getting some tequilas, right, Matt?
Absolutely. Can't complain.
Get some good food on that one. And look, guys, Matt and I we're going to continue down the state of Hawaii train. Actually, real quick, guys, there is an episode of the Sportz Nutz tomorrow. It's only 30 minutes. So I really want you guys to tune into that episode. It is a gentleman who left the corporate world to take on his passion, which was repairing baseball gloves. He is called D&J Glove Repair. I highly recommend you check them out. And he had his story featured on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, one of incredible stories to hear. And he said his contact, his business thing has grown by like 300% since that episode. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the next week will come next week we have the general manager, Pete from the Columbus Clingstones is joining us. We also have a gentleman who covers the Orlando Magic coming on for 15 minutes on Tuesday. So we have an extended episode coming on Tuesday. I want you guys to check it because he covers the Atlanta Magic and he also does stuff with NBA Live.
That'd be awesome.
So I know, Matt, you are ready to talk to him. His name is Brian, actually. I will send you more his information in a little bit.
Perfect.
And then we have a good friend, Rich Miano. He covers University of Hawaii. I believe he actually is from the University of Hawaii as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing, what he thinks everything has transpired in the state of Hawaii as far as the athletic programs go, which Matt, we'll talk about that with Ashley in just a minute.
Okay.
And then Matt and I have one, and Ashley, I know if he hears this, hopefully he does. We have a really good friend of ours, Brian Kajiyama. So he's out for a second, so he'll come back. Brian Kajiyama is coming on our show, one of the most inspirational individuals you will ever get the chance to. If you guys have not taken a chance to look at his story, please go onto YouTube, Google Brian Kajiyama, Heart of a Warrior. I promise you, it kind of gets you like teary-eyed because he's really an emotional individual. He's great. He is such a great person. Brian and I talk every day, and I've already made this. Hopefully, if it happens, Cassie and I are trying to take our official honeymoon. We haven't taken our honeymoon yet, guys. Take our honeymoon to Hawaii, and I've already said, Brian, when we come, would you sit down and have lunch or dinner? He's like, absolutely. So hopefully that transpires. So Matt, while we're waiting for Ashley to come back on, what has been going on in the Matt Thomas household?
Oh man, just been out and about, man, out and about, working, networking, and learning, and doing what I can to make us better as a whole. So just that. And then of course watching sports, man, watching sports and keeping up with what's going on with all teams and all teams in all leagues. Just trying, even learning more about leagues that I've never paid attention to before. I mean, just everything in totality, man. Just getting all this knowledge and information and just ready to put it out there for us, man. So yes.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ashley is back.
Sorry about that.
Ashley. No, hey, we are totally fine. Okay, so I'm gonna let you know, Ashley. Mm-hmm. So last July I had a widowmaker heart attack. And I'll even be happy to show you. I have the battle wounds to show. I was given a 12% survival rate. Here it is. 15 months later, I'm alive. I have survived. So I'm the most positive, caring, compassionate person. This guy right here, you ain't got to worry about it. He is even more that way. Matt, when I say Matt is caring, compassionate, he truly is. So we understand 1,000% family over everything. And we will stick to that to the day we die.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, that's what we believe.
I had to send something over. It's actually something my mom is sending to us, but I just sent her the label.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But to finish, wrap up that story about the draft, leading up to draft day. So I didn't want to go to the draft because I knew I wasn't going to be in the top 10. I was thinking like top 20 possibly. So we had a party at my parents' house in South Carolina. Like my dad retired in 99, so I was like my freshman year in college. They moved away and moved back to where he enlisted it was Paris Island, so Beaufort. And so I ended up going back there to have the party, which was cool because I didn't really know many people besides my family. Yeah, my mom still threw the biggest party ever.
But you're her baby. What do you expect? You're gonna get the biggest party ever.
Exactly. But so draft day, my parents have my dad kind of hooked up the garage to have his game room and man cave kind of thing. So I just hung out there the whole time. And waited to my name to be called. And maybe a pick. I think it was maybe 2 picks before my time. Coach from the Broncos. Oh my gosh.
Shanahan?
No, it was our receivers coach. And he ended up being the head coach Darrell. Coach Darrell. Yeah, he ended up coaching at UCLA the very next year. But he was the receivers coach and calling me. He's like, yeah, we're going to take you with the next pick. But he was like, this is not time to kind of relax. Like they were already, even on the call, it was all about business with that organization. Like I knew it was going to be night and day, even though I'm not saying Coach Jones wasn't about business, but it was more of a laid back atmosphere, like Hawaii under Coach Jones versus Shanahan.
Yeah,
And,
that's two different worlds right there.
yeah. But yeah, they're all about business on the call. He was like, yeah, it's not time to relax. It's time to work. When you get in here, we're flying you out kind of tomorrow. And as we're talking, the pick comes in and they announce my name. So I'm on the phone with them while I hear my name being called. So that was pretty cool. And then literally immediately after that, I think like the next morning I was on a flight to Denver from South Carolina. And I had a layover in Atlanta. And on that layover in Atlanta, I met up with the second round pick, Clinton Portis, and the third round pick was Dorsett Davis.
Oh my God! Wow.
And then so we were all on the plane together. We all sat next to each other, and then we all took the flight to meet the staff in Denver. I think might have taken a physical. I can't remember. Might have taken a physical. Did a little media day and all that, and then right after that, I was on a flight to Hawaii. So I went right from Denver, South Carolina to Denver, Denver to Hawaii. Then I went to Hawaii to kind of pack up everything because technically I was still in school, and still my place there in Hawaii. So I went there, packed up everything, and it was out of there the next night. So it was kind of a whirlwind. And then I went right after that. I went back to Denver, and they put me up like in an extended stay kind of hotel until we were able to, get our bearings, find a place to rent, stuff like that. Get things out there. Yeah. So that was kind of the process.
Okay. It sounds like God, you probably have racked up on frequent flyer miles there.
Yeah, that day for sure, man. But yeah, it was all worth it. I mean, shoot, looking back when it's 2025, so that was 22 years ago. Jeez, time flies, man.
Look, Ashley, we're all here just aging ourselves right as we speak. I mean, come on now. Yeah. So, Ashley, I texted you earlier about this, and I want to get your thoughts on it, with Matt as well. The whole rumbling that's going on with conference realignment, everybody and their mother is talking about it. Yeah. And Hawaii, they were kind of like a duck out of water. Nobody knew what they were doing. They had talked with the Pac-12. The Pac-12 said they didn't really see any financial gain with the University of Hawaii. Yeah. Then I don't know if you had seen. I had seen it. I had gotten word that the All-American Conference was talking to Hawaii. And it was pretty, from what I understand, it was pretty serious talks. But what was holding back UH from really going to the AAC was the fact that, the AAC doesn't make a lot of money in general. They don't have a lot of revenue that comes into their programs right now. And it wasn't feasible for the University of Hawaii to bring all their programs into the All-American Conference, having to go from Honolulu all the way, say, you sometimes have to go all the way to like maybe Boston, the University of Massachusetts kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's a really significant increase. Well, then word came from Bob DeMello from KHON2 that Conference USA was in top preliminary talks with Hawaii. Hawaii was really just throwing feeders around, really, to say who's going to take us and give us the best options to stay an FBS organization and have to go down to FCS or get rid of it altogether. And Conference USA, La Tech is there. Texas State is there. As of right now, UTEP is still there. But it wasn't just, nothing was coming to fruition. Well, they had conversations with the Mountain West. The Mountain West said that they would bring new and greater TV revenue. Well, they had just gotten word that Boise, Utah State, UNLV, they're all leaving. 5 schools leaving. And Hawaii gets the full official invite to be a full-time member this week. What are your thoughts on UH being a full-time member for almost all the sports? Obviously, men's volleyball, water polo, beach volleyball. Certain sports are not going to be included because they don't recognize them. What are your thoughts on the fact that UH has found an official home that's no? And keep in mind, a lot of the teams that are in the Mountain West were also part of the WAC.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know where to begin. So what does it mean to be a full-time member? So that means like all of the sports except men's or whatever are in it. Is that what that means?
Men's volleyball, women's volleyball, women's water polo, beach volleyball, they're not included in it. They're going to possibly stay in the Big West, even though men's volleyball is the one that's won 3 national championships in 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you're missing out on some of our heavy hitters. And then the women's volleyball, they're pretty good all the time. Our women's basketball is pretty good too, though. I was on the committee to help pick the our new AD, and when we were like a lot of our questions we had to a lot of the ADs, like potential ADs, was about the conference realignments and what are their thoughts and stuff. And that's when I first started hearing word that the Mountain West was going to kind of blow up, and we might need to look for a home. So I guess on one end, the Mountain West taking us in and signing us now is a good thing because of like our stadium, for instance. If we don't, I think we need to be able to seat at least 15,000. I think that might be my number. That might be the number. If not, we're on probation to not be qualified as an NCAA 1 team. We have our stadium has to be able to have that amount or that many.
Wow.
So right now I think we're on probation, and then they give us like an extension if like our stadium's in the works and all that stuff. Our stadium plans just got trashed, so we're like square one of trying to get a new stadium.
Again.
Yeah. So that is what it scares me a little bit because like the Pac-12, I'm pretty sure whatever they're going to be now, Pac-12, Pac-13. I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of went away from us and maybe other conferences as well. So I think on one side, it's a good thing that we can kind of get what we can get, with being a part of a major conference. But man, I was really hoping to get into one of those big time schools because even though we're gonna struggle, big time conferences because like the Pac-12, or another one of the bigger ones, because even though we were gonna kind of struggle, we would have kind of gotten the financial backing to be able to start recruiting. We're in a great conference. So now a lot of those kids who, were like maybe 1 or 2 recruits behind going to a big time school comes to our school knowing he's going to get to play against, these big time schools. So, yeah, I was hoping a little bigger, but I mean, with the way our school is now and being stuck on the island out here and not having a stadium and our facilities aren't even as good as like our top 5 best high schools here. Like Kamehameha schools are better, Punahou is better. So like these private schools, high schools have better facilities than the D1 school down the road. So that's tough keeping people home. So, I can't complain too much because, it could have been a lot worse when it comes to the conference realignment thing. What other schools are still left in the Mountain West?
You have Air Force. Air Force said they're staying in the Mountain West.
Okay.
Let's see. It's Air Force, Wyoming, of course, Hawaii. UTEP is coming into the conference. Trying to think. I know they're also having talks with getting Toledo and Northern Illinois as a football only like feel for them. So I'm trying to think. I believe Fresno is also Fresno, Colorado State, Boise, and Utah State, and I think San Diego State have also bounced to the Pac-12. With all those going into, it's about $180 million in poaching fees and exit fees. And now that Hawaii, from what Rob DeMello did say, and Brett Murphy has also said this, now that Hawaii has an official full-time member in all sports. Before, Hawaii was only getting 2% of that, which was like $3 or $4 million, which is nothing. And you're still having to pay $1.8 million a year in travel subsidies. Well, now those are gone, and which saves the school $1.8 million. And the Mountain West is paying the buyout to leave the Big West for $750,000, which also saves the school more money. So I think what it looks like is it's Air Force, Hawaii, UTEP, New Mexico, San Jose State. I'm trying. There's other schools. I'm trying to remember. It's 8 total members, is what it is. And if they can get Toledo and Northern Illinois to come in, it'd be obviously 10 members in football, 8 full-time members. However, here's the kicker on this too, Ashley. Wyoming and UTEP don't recognize baseball as a Mountain West team. I mean, a Mountain West conference. They actually play in an FCS level for their baseball, so they don't recognize. So you only have 6 schools playing baseball. So there's still a lot of fluidity going on with the Mountain West Conference. But I see it this way. You're going to get more, especially with the basketball. Basketball is going to get more television time. They're going to get more recruits. They're going to get more everything, basically. Same with the football. Now, the question obviously comes to light is what's going to happen with the stadium? Obviously Aloha was condemned in, I believe, 2020. Yeah. So, it's been 4 years since they've had a stadium. The stadium's still sitting there. The proposals is that the investors have to also tear down Aloha Stadium and build new Aloha Stadium, as well as the governor has said he wants a live work kind of play situation at there. And, it's obviously it's very it's still timid. It's a lot of issues going on.
Well, they're still having concerts there.
Which it's so weird. Like they condemned it, but it's not, I love going to Aloha Stadium. It was beautiful so I lived in Hawaii for 3 years. Matt, he's mad about that because I didn't pack him with me. So my ex-wife actually works for Ceridian, which is they have a hub in Honolulu. They're one of the largest payroll companies in the world. They have a hub out there. So we were out there because they were opening a position up in St. Petersburg, Florida. We needed to train, and then we moved back to Georgia. And then we went to St. Petersburg, Florida, and then fortunately got divorced from her, and I'm with my wife now, who I've been together for.
Yeah, make sure you get that right.
Yeah. So been together for 10 years, married for 9. We have 4 beautiful kids that you saw. It was a great experience. You're right though. So people don't understand. They think, oh, it's Hawaii. It's an island. You can do whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. Ashley will probably can tell you this too. There's this thing. It's called island legs, island fever. You have to be able to accept. You can't just do what we do here. See, Matt lives an hour and 48 minutes away from me, right? He lives in Georgia. I live in Easley. Hour and 48 minutes to get to my house. You can't do that in Hawaii. You have to take an island hopper or puddle jumper to the other islands. Like go from Oahu to Maui to Lanai, Kauai to the Big Island. You can't just drive. And that's the island fever, the island legs. You have to be able to accept that. And people don't really understand that. And also the fact that it costs an arm and a leg to live in Hawaii. It's pretty pricey. What do you think? Do you agree? Like the island, there's a real thing called island fever?
Yeah. So much so that this might be the first Christmas that we're going to spend here. We're trying to save some money. But we go to either visit my wife's family or my family every Christmas. We look forward to leaving during the winter, so we'll go and be freezing and cold, and then it makes us appreciate home. It's like, oh, now I see why we live there. But when we're here, like you said, it gets old. Like you can only go to the beach so much, and people who don't have the beach are like, what the hell are you talking about? But it can kind of get old. And then now that we moved to the Big Island, it's even worse. It's like we're fiending because my mom still lives on Oahu. So like for Halloween, we're going to take the kids over and stay at my mom's in a couple weeks. And so we're like fiending just to go to that island because it's night and day. But there's no high rises here. There's no real downtown or anything to kind of get culture. There's not even big box chain restaurant on the Big Island. Like there's no Applebee's or Cheesecake Factory or anything like that. All you have is McDonald's and Wendy's. So there's like nothing here in the Big Island. So like we're looking forward to going to Oahu, you know, and when we live in Oahu, we're looking forward to going to Walla Walla, Washington, or
oh my God,
Carolina. So we were looking forward just to get off the island. So yeah, that's a real thing. The island fever is a real thing for sure.
You know, and let me ask you this, Ashley. All right, it's it's Hawaii. It's a great place to be, right? Great place to visit,
yeah,
and that kind of stuff. When you go to the mainland, you know, and people don't realize also, for those who are watching, Native Hawaiians, they don't like the word mainland. They cannot stand it. They cringe at that word. And I learned that when I was there. Don't say mainland. It's don't say that. No, kind of thing. So I understand completely. Look, and I love the people of Hawaii. I have so many aunties and uncles. It's ridiculous. I actually have good friends. You know, you may know them, Linda and Billy Fihoko. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
So I talk to them all the time. Braden, I actually have set to come on. I'm trying to get him to come on during the bye week for Pittsburgh.
Billy was the Warrior, right?
Yeah, Billy was the Warrior.
Okay.
He was the mascot.
Yeah.
Braden and his son and his brother, should say. Braden was one of his sons. Braden plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then his sons, one of them, his sons, I still believe is a coach at Texas Tech. If I'm not mistaken. That's where he went to. Braden actually went from Texas Tech to LSU, won the national championship. He did not get drafted, but he signed a free agent deal with San Diego Chargers, which are now the LA Chargers. And so he now signed a full-term contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Ashley, I'm actually going to ask you this next, but he was this close to getting signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of the Falcons, Matt also is too, but I'm a diehard Dirty Bird fan. I've been a fan since 1992. I saw the last home game ever played at Fulton County Stadium, which was a rust bucket. It was a dump. It really was. I saw the first home game ever played at the Georgia Dome. I don't know if you remember this, actually. There was actually a Monday Night Football game the Atlanta Falcons played against Deion Sanders after he had been traded to the 49ers. And him and Andre Rison got into a fight on Monday Night Football. I was at that game. I had a blast. I was at the last regular season game ever at the Georgia Dome, which Matt will tell you that it was electric. It really was. I've only been to a few preseason games at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but if you want to put a stadium into existence, like what would do benefit well in Hawaii, build a stadium like Mercedes-Benz. It's phenomenal. But when you played for Atlanta, what was it like? You got to play. I believe you got to play with Michael Vick. Am I correct?
Yeah.
What was it like being an Atlanta Falcon?
Let me see. It was okay. Coming from Denver, the reason I'm kind of pausing is because coming from Denver and having the perspective of their organization, and then going to Atlanta, it's not like it was a drop off. It was just different how everything was just run, and being able to be on my first team after being drafted. So this is my first experience getting to be with a different coach, different owners. It was just a different experience. And if you guys don't remember, I held out in Denver, like kind of forced my trade to Atlanta. So the only reason I was in Atlanta was because Shanahan didn't want me to go somewhere where I could succeed. So he sent me to a place that already had two first round receivers in Mike Jenkins and Roddy White. Yeah. And then Michael Vick at the time, he was a great quarterback and a player, but our coaching staff at the time wasn't really teaching him how to be a quarterback. They were just utilizing his athletic ability. Like the plays that were being called was just to ride Michael Vick to the promised land. Like there was no, like once he went to kind of put into perspective what I'm saying is once he went to the Eagles under, what's his name?
Andy Reid.
Yeah. You saw a whole different quarterback. Like he was sitting in the pocket, reading. Like him and D Jack were going crazy because they were actually teaching him how to be a quarterback and then using his legs when they needed to be. It wasn't the other way around. So basically at that time in Michael Vick's career, I had a running back at coach at quarterback. Running back at quarterback, and the two other receivers that they already drafted, that was going to kind of get all the love. So it was in a kind of tough situation.
Yeah.
And, and I think that year we led the league in drops, actually, our receiving core. So we were just having a horrible time. And, Atlanta fans, they're not soft on you. So,
No.
they're not.
We are not.
Hold your hand. So it was, yeah, it was.
Oh,
awesome.
He'll come back. Oh my God. Like, it's funny. He literally just said that with regards to Atlanta fans. Matt, you can attest to that too.
Yeah.
We Atlanta Falcons fans, we are pretty against like any bad stuff. So, let me ask you this, Ashley.
Yeah.
All right. So you told us what it was like to be under Jim Moore Jr. and everybody, I can tell you, nobody liked it. And there was actually a story that was done about Roddy White. Roddy White he was just there is what it was for a long time. And it took really something out of the blue one day changed. He became one of Atlanta's top receivers ever. When you went on and you played for the Niners, obviously, you played for the Niners. You played for back then the Oakland Raiders, now the Vegas Raiders, which is still weird to say.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see? What did you notice different between, the Atlanta? Obviously Atlanta's changed a lot now with their organization. You have Raheem Morris, who's doing phenomenal things for Atlanta. You have Kirk Cousins, that kind of stuff. What have you noticed? What did you notice when you were from Atlanta and you went over back to the West Coast and you played for the Niners and the Raiders?
Mm-hmm. What did I notice about Roddy?
Or about the organization and that kind of stuff?
Sorry, what did I notice about Atlanta's organization or the new ones I went to?
So like when you were at Atlanta, it's completely different. You're saying completely different and that kind of stuff. They single it out, making sure you just listen to Michael Vick's legs run kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you go over to San Francisco and you're back at the West Coast. What was the difference in how the organizations ran in Atlanta versus San Francisco?
Okay, yeah. Well, the organization in Atlanta was run top notch. Like Arthur Blank was phenomenal owner, and then going to San Fran, I don't think it was DeBarlow's yet. I think it was the owner still before, but Coach Nolan was a different breed too. So when I went to San Fran, it was Coach Nolan. He was, it might have been his first or second year there. He was a big time D coordinator at the time. They got the head job. So he's trying to figure things out, and it again, it's nothing like it was like Denver. Denver was up there, like being like how everything was run from our meals to the facilities and everything. And in San Fran, it was, I don't know. I don't want to speak bad about anybody or anything like that. It was just different, and our coaches were kind of in flux at the time, and Alex Smith was on the team, but yet they weren't giving him a chance to do what he can do, So I kind of was saying, I'm kind of putting it like kind of on the coaching staff, like players can only do so much, but the coaches and their system has so much to do with the success of the team, to kind of go back to like Shanahan, even though I wanted to be out of there and we butted heads and blah, blah, blah. Their system and the players they got to fit their system, which is another reason why would you even draft me? I don't even fit in their system. But anyways, their system and the way they kind of do things, that's why I've always had success with the running game and everything like that. When I went to San Fran, it felt like there just was no identity, and it was like kind of the Wild West with the coaches, going in opposite directions with things. And it really opened my eyes to like, the grass isn't always greener thing, after leaving Denver. But they're now obviously I think the new ownership came in, they changed it. And then going to freaking the Raiders, that was just like the bottom. Like it was like Denver and Atlanta was kind of up here. And there was a drop off to San Fran, and then the Raiders was just like bottom of the barrel at the time. At the time, at the time, the owner, what's his name, Davis, was still alive.
Al Davis, yeah.
Yeah, Lane, not Lane? Yeah, Lane Kiffin was our head coach. He was only a year older than me at the time, maybe 2 years older than me at the time. And Al Davis, when I got traded there, which is a funny story, when I went to, before I signed with them, I didn't get traded, before I signed with them, Lane met in the office, and the first thing he says was, "We have the Broncos on Monday night. Do you want to shove it to Shanahan next week?" I'm like, yeah. He was like,
that sounds like something he would say.
He was like, sign here. I'm like, perfect, boom. And I think I actually scored a touchdown in that game too, Monday Night Football, when I first signed with them. But he ended up getting fired like 4 games in. Like Al Davis was at every practice in his wheelchair, so it was like pins and needles at practice. Fights on the airplane between players, it was crazy. That was my last year playing too, so it kind of sucks that was the last year to go out like that. But it was crazy, like how things were run on with the Raiders. Like it was totally 2 ends of the spectrum when it came to the Raiders and the Broncos. Crazy, yeah.
Now, before I go to Matt, because he has a question for you, we have a member of our chat said, this is a good friend of mine, Trey Davis. If you could develop a player like Michael Vick, what would you prioritize? What would you prioritize over relying solely? Would you prioritize him relying solely on his athleticism, or as fundamentals? I guess is what he's trying to say.
I would prioritize just being a quarterback, being able to learn how to read defenses, even though he knew how to do all that. They just never tapped into that. Like it was always using his legs first and foremost. Like he might have 1 or 2 reads, maybe 1 read. If that first guy is an open run, get the first down kind of thing. So I would prioritize the same thing Coach Reed did. Sitting in the pocket, learning how to, keep your eyes downfield and making those throws. And you saw he can do it. As soon as they put him in there, like that offense was so prolific with him. And then on top of that, when he needed to use his legs, and he did, he was unstoppable, man. Like same with, what they're doing now with Lamar Jackson. And even what Reed is doing with Mahomes. It's like, we know he can run. He's probably one of the most athletic people on the field right now, but he also has really good arm talent. Like the thing about Michael Vick too was that he could probably throw the ball 90, 100 yards, like pretty easily. Like the dude had a cannon, perfect spiral, like was accurate as can be. It was just, they never tapped into that. Like our coordinator, Coach Knapp at the time, I mean, just, never really tapped into it. And it got away. I mean, I think they got, before I got there, you guys might have gotten to the NFC Championship game or something pretty far right in the playoffs using his athletic ability, So I can see why they didn't shy away from it, but people catch on eventually. And,
Absolutely.
He starts getting banged up and here or there. So yeah, to answer the guy's question, I would definitely prioritize. So Mike, you guys here? Okay. Hey, can we take another break? I got to go deliver stuff.
Absolutely. So what we'll actually do is we'll go ahead and let you, because I know you got a family. You told me you had a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to do. You and I we're gonna talk after this, obviously. But if it's okay, can I share Matt your information? So if he has anything he wants to ask you, he can message you individually.
Oh, of course. Yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, if this has been a great conversation with Ashley Lelie, he has to do things in life, and it's totally fine. Guys, remember, he's 6 hours behind us. So Ashley, I gotta tell you this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly mean it. Like I said, I idolized how to catch the ball and play better because of you. And I thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to come on my show. It really does mean a lot to me.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. It was fun. And good luck to you guys in the future. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. Matt, how cool was that, Matt, to have Ashley Lelie on our show, dude?
Oh man, yeah, like I said, that was awesome, man. Especially the questions I got to ask him. Like I said, a lot of people out there played sports, and they want to know what that draft process is like. They want to know what that college kind of the guys that don't make it. They want to know what that college life is like, or how it is leading up to getting drafted, and then that actually what happens on draft night or draft day. So there's a lot of good information there, man. It's always good to hear things straight from the horse's mouth, and yeah, he provided a lot of information and intel for us.
Absolutely, guys. Look, I'm not just, look, I do have a lot of ties to the state of Hawaii. Perfectly fine. But what Matt will also tell you is I have ties to almost every state in the union, folks. The only state I don't have ties to yet, I'm going to though, is the 49th state, Alaska. But just keep in mind, folks, in Alaska, there's only 4 million people in the entire state. And you can fit the state of Rhode Island in Alaska 47 and a half times. People would not believe this. They would say, what's the largest state in the union? Matt, you probably would say would be California or Texas, right?
Of course.
The largest state in the union is Alaska. If you were to pick Alaska up, put it in the low, they call it the lower 48, you put it there, it will swallow California 27 times.
Yes, it will.
It will swallow the state of Texas 18 times. Alaska is the largest state in the union, the United States. There's only 4 million people. So I will get somebody up there. I promise you guys. But Matt will tell you, I network myself and I network Matt. And Matt probably is going to tell you the same thing that he sees. So Trey Davis just said, Alaska has more bears than any state. Yes, that is true. But Matt will tell you he gets Twitter notifications probably umpteen times a day because of me, because I'm networking him and I'm networking me. That's what we do here. We want to bring you the best entertainment possible. And guys, I promise you, we got a lot more lined up. November is starting to book, and we got some big people coming on. Matt, have you ever heard of a guy named Brian Baldinger?
I think I've heard of him here and there.
Just randomly, right? So him and Iron talks about coming on the first week of November to come on my show. And ladies and gentlemen, this show, I got breaking news for you. This guy right here, this is my director. I'm just a body. Show it's the Sportz Nutz. It's him and me. Notice I said him and me, not me and him. It's him and I. So we are the best of the best. I mean, we're gonna get you Brian Balding. If we get him on there, dude, I'll be electrified.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. I'm ready to get him on. Matt, I'm sitting here and I gotta ask you this question because our good friend Brian Kajiyama brought this up, right?
Yeah.
With me is why do smaller schools, conferences, whatever, get like football games like went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday you start getting your bigger conferences, and obviously Saturday is an all-out brawl for everybody.
Exactly.
And right now I'm watching Marshall play host to Georgia State. Marshall's up 18-10. Georgia State, they look like they're all over the place. They don't look really like they look lost. So let's answer this question for Brian and everybody else who's watching, because there's 84 people watching right now. Right. So let's answer it. Good. Final and all. Why do small conferences get the weekday games?
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
All right. I just think it's the network's way of paying homage to the little guy, to the little man. They want them. If you notice, there's not a lot of them on at this particular time. There's only just a few. They're just trying to give attention to some of the smaller schools that won't get won't get an eyelash off from anybody on a Saturday. Think about it. On Saturday comes, you got UGA, you got this school, you got this school, you got this school playing. You're not gonna watch Georgia State unless you're like an alumni from there. If it's on right now and you just love the game of football, you're gonna tune in and watch it because you love the game of football. So me personally, I always thought that was the reason. Me personally.
So, Matt, you are partially correct. Yes. So, if you were to put in a basket all the conferences, right? You have the Big 12, the Big 10, SEC, ACC, and that's really you only right now. You only have 4 guys. There's no Power 5 right now. It's Power 4. Okay, the Power Five is coming in 26 when Pac-12 starts, really get going again. So you have 4. So you have everybody else: the Sun Belt, Conference USA, the Mid-America Conference, which is the MAC, which is an extremely small conference. You have the Mountain West Conference. You do have the Pac-2. You have the MEAC. You have all other conferences. They're all biting and pulling for just something, right? Yes, the reason why they're on is because there's nothing else on football-wise. So you're going to get your TV time. However, and I bet you didn't know this. Actually, I'm going to quiz you on this one, Matt. Out of all the small conferences, the Sun Belt, the Conference USA, Mid-American, Mountain West, all those kind of things, who do you think gets the most revenue out of all TV, out of all those conferences?
Who has the biggest school?
Speaking of Brian Conjema, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend is right there. Wouldn't it be hard to compete with an NFL Thursday night game? So, Brian,
look at the game now.
Yeah. and Brian, let's just reiterate this again on Thursday. So, Amazon just threw excuse my language, just threw a shit ton of money at the NFL and said, hey, we'll give you $500 million if you let us air your games. And in the past 4 years, Matt and I'll probably tell you there's only been 3 quality matchups on Thursday night football.
With that's the last good one being just the Falcons and the Buccaneers 2 weeks ago.
The Falcons and Buccaneers, yeah, that was it.
So one in years.
So Thursday night is just something about how bad it is. Cassie even asked this question about Thursday night football. I said it's because it's just not quality. It's terrible. Kurt Herbstreit, look, Kurt's a great commentator for college. He's terrible for the NFL because Kurt didn't make it in the NFL, and there's a reason why. Because Kurt is just Kurt. And Al Michael, he's bless his heart, and Marshall just scored a huge wide open touchdown. Look, Al Michaels, he did great things for Monday Night Football for ABC. He did great things for NBC, for CBS. Al Michaels, he's been around for longer than dinosaurs have been on the earth, kind of thing. Can they flex games on 2 Thursdays? No, they cannot flex games. Unfortunately, Brian, they can't do that. They actually have it set out 2 years in advance. So the games you're seeing now on Thursday, have already known them for 2 years. Yeah. Yes, Amazon gets the rights to pick and choose what game they want 2 years in advance. That's kind of shady if you think about it, but it is how it goes in the lay of the land. So, Matt, you were asking who has the biggest one, right? I asked you who the biggest one is. Who do you think is the biggest conference out of all those small ones?
I'll say the Sun Belt.
Bingo. Sun Belt gets $7 million a year to split amongst all the schools. Conference USA gets $2 million a year, which is pretty sad.
Those are not. Those are not good numbers.
So, and here is what did Brian say? He said, so it makes sense for smaller conferences to pay. I get it. Thanks. Hey, Brian, dude, you are the man, dude. Hey, if you ever, I'm telling you, man, small schools, they bank, right? So some, they bank, right?
Yeah.
But the MAC, $1.5 million a year to split through all their schools.
Oof.
Yeah, that's in TV revenue though. That's not including local television revenues and that kind of stuff. So national TV revenue, they get 1.5 to split amongst their schools. It's not very big, unfortunately. The reason why the Sun Belt is because the Sun Belt's going and picking in everybody they can. And the Sun Belt actually has a spot in the 12 team. Every conference winner has a chance to be. They have a spot in the 12 team. But the Sun Belt, out of all of them, has the highest. Why? Because they have the most money. It's not really fair. I don't like it, unfortunately, but
yeah,
that's how it goes. But hey, look, Matt, I'm going to ask you this, and I want your honest opinion, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, we know about all the conference realignments that's going on, yada, 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 right?
Yes.
The ACC, there was talks just this past year, off season even, that the ACC could be done. Clemson and Florida State, there were talks about going out there, and there was talks about North Carolina bowing out. NC State, Miami, all these schools, they're talking about bouncing out. But then you added, SMU, Stanford, California, which is really weird to say. Cal Berkeley is a
Yeah,
Atlantic Coast Conference team.
that's
So
crazy. That is crazy to even fathom.
yeah, how do you wrap your head around that,
I
right?
just thinking them as the Pac-10. I mean, or for
You just aged yourself right there.
I know, right?
You just aged yourself.
Basketball, Pac-10, Big East, ACC.
Big East, ACC East,
Oh my
ACC
gosh,
West.
man, that's how it's supposed to be. All sports represented in one kind of conference.
And their region.
Yeah, yes. Now you have the school with football, basketball in this conference, and football in this conference. But I mean, it's just it's too much for me, man. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not racking my head with it.
So before your brain explodes and all this like conference realignment mess, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. So now you look at the ACC, and I don't know if you saw this recently. It was about 3-4 weeks ago. Clemson and Florida State said, "Hey, we want it. We're sorry, ACC. We love you. We're gonna stay, but let's have a new deal, a new grant of rights deal created where we can include other schools to come in and they can bring in the extra revenue." I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that?
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, and our good friend Abe Gordon said, of course, because nobody wanted them, so now they're just bringing them in, right? It's pretty childish to say this, but let me ask you this, Matt: what school or schools would you like to see the ACC poach and bring them to the ACC? Like, what? It doesn't matter whatever conference. Look, you can even choose the Ball State Cardinals. Come on, Ball State's terrible, but you could choose Mid-American schools. You can choose Mountain West. You can choose American Conference. You can choose the Pac whatevers. You can, I mean, heck, you could even tack into the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10. What, heck, even the Sun Belt. What school would you like to see come to the ACC and why?
And well, I mean, obviously they would need it's the ACC. They would need to have strong teams, man. I mean, oof. I can see I think a couple of SEC teams would need to go over there. To start for starters, a couple of SEC teams would need to go over there. I'm not sure as far as what the overall records are for a lot of the SEC teams, but maybe somebody like South Carolina would thrive over there. Maybe somebody like no, that was North Carolina State. NC State used to be in the ACC.
So I got a little breaking news for you there too. South Carolina was in the ACC at one time.
They were. They need to go back to the ACC.
Yes.
But I mean, maybe somebody. I think Auburn will stay in the SEC due to the tradition and heritage and Auburn versus Alabama game. But teams that just can't find their footing in the SEC, I think those teams need to go. I would take those teams for the ACC.
Like Vanderbilt? Would you add Vanderbilt?
Yes, Vanderbilt as well. They need definitely to get out of the SEC. I mean, I get it, but I mean, come on, they got to go. But I mean, I would keep it in ACC. I would keep it those coastal teams, man, because that's my bias. Because that's what I know from back in the day. ACC was North Carolina, Duke. I mean, gosh, man, those were the Georgia Tech. Those were the ACC schools back in the day, man. But I mean, I don't know, man. Because nowadays, man, I mean, now we have NIL, so NIL is going to change everything. It's just going to be one big league, and
yes,
that's
a friend of mine had said there's the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the EEC, which is the everyone else conference.
Yeah, it's just gonna be one big league. I see you're gonna have the SEC, they're gonna have everyone else, and everyone else is just gonna form one league. There's gonna be one league, there's gonna be the SEC, and those two things are either gonna do one of two things. They're either gonna come together, or they're gonna go into and be two different leagues. So I mean, that's where I see it going. But man, as far as what teams to put in there, man, I would think you will have to get a couple bottom feeders from the SEC to throw into the ACC. That would be the first thing I would do.
Okay.
Then I would work around that. Go to pick the best team from the Sun Belt, or the best team from the Horizon, or best team from here or there.
Did you say the Horizon League?
Well, I'm thinking basketball still, man. I'm sorry.
Woo! The Horizon League. Oh wow.
I'm thinking basketball, man. But that's what I would do.
Okay, I like it. We were talking about like something to watch on like weekday football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember me telling you what the combined records were the other night for all there was 4 games playing or 3 games playing, 4 teams.
Yeah,
or 6
said,
teams.
I think all those teams only had like 7 wins or something.
7 combined wins. And ladies and gentlemen, this just in, Kennesaw State is terrible. And I mean, at one point, they'd only scored 2 points, which was on a gimme safety. They lost. What was the final score? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I know it was a slacking.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. So Kennesaw State's 0-6, right?
Yeah.
They were playing Middle Tennessee State, another bottom feeder in Conference USA. Guys, yes, it was only 14-5, but they stunk. And Middle Tennessee State, look, I'm not going anything bad again. I'm not going to say anything bad, but God, Kennesaw State, you guys need to do something because I mean
they just gotta. I mean, they're still new. They're still new to the Division I, man.
Yep.
It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. They'll eventually get that one recruit. I mean, look at what was it? Jacksonville State,
yeah.
I mean, no, Jackson State.
Jackson State, yeah, they got Shador Sanders and they got Travis Hunter.
I mean, it's going to take that one coach and that one recruit. They're going to get that coach that got fired from somewhere, who's a really good coach, got fired from somewhere and has to prove himself, and he's going to turn that program around. That's how it always happens. So that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that one coach to go there, and boom, it'll catch on, get some good recruits, and they'll be a better school. But right now, they're just going through that. It's like me, like I'm growing my beard right now. There's an ugly phase right now. Kennesaw State is just going through that ugly phase. So, but they'll
an ugly phase.
They're going through the ugly phase right now. So they'll tune it up. They'll tune it up, and then I'll sharpen it up, sharpen the edges up, and then when they get that coach and those 3-star recruits to start, then the 4-star recruits, then they'll get that 1 5-star recruit, and then they'll start, it'll start spiraling up or trending up from there.
It only takes one, guys. It really is true. All right, Matt. So let me ask you this, okay? And we're kind of in an anomaly on this, okay? I don't know the answer. I'm gonna tell you now. I don't know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask it.
Yeah.
When was, and I'm gonna pull it up right now so we can talk about it. When was the last time you can recall BYU, Army, Navy, they were undefeated in the same season?
I don't think there was ever a time. There was never a time where I can recall that. Never a time. Because whenever I would see the Army versus Navy games, both teams would be like only have like 3, 4, or 5 wins, and they're playing to get a bowl game. Yep. So that's what I remember.
So I don't know. I can't remember myself either, but hey, we got some really good games to cover. Look, guys, we do have an episode tomorrow. It's only 30 minutes. It's just specifically for our special guest, Jim, with DNJ Glove Repair. So, Matt, let's quickly go over some big games for college football. You ready?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that.
All right. Now, this one is kind of a laughable matchup. I mean, one team is going like straight to the toilet bowl. The other team is kind of like hanging on by a thread. Florida State goes to Duke. What do you got?
Florida State goes to Duke.
Yep.
I think Duke's going to win that one. Duke's going to pull that one out. I say Duke wins 28-10.
God, I mean, that you want to talk about fall from grace? That's Florida State going undefeated last year to a 1-win season. Oh, that's sad. It's really sad. All right, Virginia. They travel to Clemson. Clemson is the number 10 team for the 3rd week in a row, but they're playing host to Virginia. Who do you think? I mean, I kind of think I know where you're going, but who do you think wins and why, or in the score?
Clemson, their offense has just been on the road, man, ever since that first game. I really think they shouldn't have played UGA. I think they probably should have played it later in the season. It would have been a better game. K. Klubnik is playing phenomenal. Phil Maffa, their running back, is having a good season, a solid season as well. I still think he should be getting in the end zone a lot more, but hey.
Utilize your weapons, Dabo. Come on now.
But they're 5-1 with their only loss being to UGA. That's good no matter how you slice it. And their offenses looked unstoppable. I think Clemson is going to put a slacking on Virginia. I'd say Clemson wins. I say 51-17.
Ooh, 51-17. Ooh.
The first 50 I've given all year. I think 51-17 Clemson.
So Cassie and I are in agreement. We're thinking 38-14 Clemson wins. All right. And now we're just going to talk about one of those names I just mentioned to you, Matt. East Carolina travels to number 23 ranked undefeated Army. Who?
Army.
Who wins it? Oh.
Army's going to take this one. I don't think East Carolina has the horses to stop that rushing attack from Army. So I'm going to go with Army. Army wins 34-21.
Ooh, close actually. Okay. All right. Look, we said this last week. South Carolina is only a breath away from being good, but they're also a sneeze away from being really bad.
I thought they were
traveling. They're traveling to Norman. Brent Venable, he just got walloped in the Red River rivalry, which wasn't really a rivalry. It was more like a Red River beatdown. Does South Carolina get the brunt into that stick and lose to Oklahoma, or does South Carolina able to pull it off?
I think South Carolina is going to lose to Oklahoma on this one, man. Again, South Carolina is just too iffy. They've had leads. They should have closed out games that they should have won. I just think that last loss that they had against Alabama that's the straw that breaks the camel's back right there. To have the game and to have it in the palm of your hands, and you had them on the ropes, and then you just dropped the ball.
All you had to do is just on that 2-pointer, and you would have gotten it, tied it, sent it overtime.
That's it. But they shouldn't have gotten to that. They came out so fast and they hit them. Especially, oh my gosh. So I just don't think South Carolina's going to bounce back. I say South Carolina probably only wins 2 more games for the season, if that.
So I said, I told you this last week, and I'm sticking to it. Mm-hmm. Carolina may not even win another game. And if they do, maybe you're right. 1 or 2 games is a possibility. I mean, look, now that Vanderbilt has shown they're legit this season, remember, guys, even years that Vanderbilt does pretty good, odd years they suck. And this is an even year. I mean, I don't know. Does South Carolina actually get a chance against Vanderbilt? Who knows? We'll see. Oof. Speaking of those wonderful Alabama Crimson Tide, they travel to Knoxville, and they take on number 11 ranked Tennessee. Now, keep in mind, Bama is only favored by 3 points. But what do you think?
This is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be one of those down to the wire, last team that has it kicks a field goal type game. Both teams, I mean,
both coming off big losses.
Yeah. I mean, but now Alabama beat last week. What did Alabama beat last week?
They beat they beat South Carolina.
There you go.
But losses meaning like they haven't. So truthfully, the Bama really hadn't been strong all season.
They haven't. They shouldn't have beat UGA. UGA should have won that game. But should have, would have, could have. At the same time, I think that's probably going to be the best game of the night. What is it? 3:30. 3:30.
3:30. Yep.
So we're going to be the best game of the day. I don't know who's going to win this game. But if I had to guess, I would say Alabama wins it 24-21. They went on late field.
I'm going to flip you on that. I'm going to say Tennessee wins 24-21. I don't know. Just something about Knoxville. They're on the up and up. So, guys, if you want to go to a quality football game, make sure you get your tickets, because the cheapest ticket right now to the Alabama Tennessee game that I have found is $1,277.
Woo!
Matt, yeah. So get your checkbook out there, Matt. You ready?
No.
All right, Matt.
No.
Let's talk about your boys here. Okay. They went to Dublin. They knocked off Florida State in Dublin.
We're 5-2.
You're 1 win away from bowl eligibility right away. You're playing host to Notre Dame. Nationally televised game, 3:30. Notre Dame is only favored by 8.5 points. And I'm going to give my upset right here. I think Georgia Tech wins it like 31-24.
I have 28-24 winning. I have Georgia Tech winning 28-24.
See, it's going to be a great game no matter what.
Yeah, with the Haynes brothers, as I call them. I think that duel, if they continue to run the ball, and I know you saw the game versus North Carolina where they won, Georgia Tech won at the end of the long run.
I only got like the longest, loudest possible text message from Matt, by the way, when it happened.
Yo, but yeah,
yeah, that's what Matt. I mean, I could literally hear Matt right now. Because it was an incredible play. So
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
so you're saying
saying
28-24.
Yes.
I'm saying 31-24. We're pretty neck and neck on that one. And then again, also, let me ask you this, Matt. And folks, I know there's people watching the stream here. Let's ask you guys this too. Has Notre Dame really done anything to impress you? Like, I don't know, ever? Because I just haven't seen them zazzle me. And keep in mind, Matt, this is going to be crazy. They're playing at the Benz. They're playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That is crazy. But I mean, as far as Notre Dame impressed me with something, I will say I was impressed at that whole catfish thing on Manti Te'o. But I was kind of
Which, if you want to look at his leaked girlfriend pictures, just go look at a wall. There's nothing in a wall. Just look at the wall and you see the picture of her right there. Anyway, that's kind of mean, but we're not going to be mean. All right,
a story for another day.
Yep. Our good friend Vince, his team take the number 24.
Oh, I'll take him.
Yep.
Who did
they lost. Let me see. I'm gonna click on them. Lost to Washington, 27-17.
And you called it. You called that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna read the scores to you too, Matt, so you can kind of see like maybe where I'm heading on this direction.
Yeah.
But week one, they scored 30. Week two, they scored 30. They scored 12. Week 3, they scored 28. Week 4, they scored 27. Week 5, they scored 27. And then last week, they scored 17.
I think they bounce back this week. I think Michigan beats Illinois. I think they bounce back. They show a little bit of focus. I think they win 31-24.
Okay. I think 27-21 is the final score. Michigan wins. But Michigan wins. All right, Matt. The next matchup I want to talk about, Charlotte, who has actually had a pretty decent season, travels to undefeated number 25 Navy. Who do you got?
I got Navy winning that one, man. No, I think Navy's going to take them out. 34-17.
I'll say 38-17. So we're around that same score. All right. You got to talk about our team right here, University of Hawaii. They make this ridiculous. Okay, all right. So I'm going to give you the travel itinerary for the University of Hawaii traveling to Pullman, Washington, and they're playing at Washington State. The game is at 3:30 Eastern time. So the game is technically at 12:30 in the afternoon in Washington. They will play the game. They will travel back to Honolulu and be back to Hawaii by 6 o'clock Hawaii time. Wow. Which again, folks, let's just add 6 to that, and it means they're going to be back to Hawaii at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Look, Washington State is favored 18.5. Chang is 1-13 on the road as UH coach. He did, Ashley did say he thinks that Chang got dealt the bad hand. Yeah, 1-13 overall as the head football coach on the road for University of Hawaii. What do you think the final score will be?
Well, I don't think Hawaii is going to win this game. I think Washington State is going to win this game. And I think that Washington State is going to win it 38-21.
And I can see that actually because, look, Ashley just told you guys, Hawaii had the run and shoot, one of the most high-powered offenses to ever walk the face of the earth. It really is. I run that offense, and my team scored. We scored 55 points a game when I coached. We scored. Hawaii, they're ranked in the close to the bottom of the 130 range of points per game, which that hurts. I say 38-17. Washington wins. All right, so two teams that are about to possibly join the Mountain West Conference: Toledo at Northern Illinois. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Toledo here, man. I think Toledo's gonna pull it out. I think Toledo's gonna win this one 28-21.
Ooh, I like that score. And look, guys, Toledo, yes, they're 1-1 in their conference. They're 4-2.
Yeah.
There's like a three-way tie for the MAC. You know, you got Buffalo, and you got Ohio, and then you got Toledo, and then you got Western Michigan. So you really do have that three-way tie. So I'm actually going to tag you on this one too, man. I'm going to say Toledo wins. I'm going to say because Toledo scores a lot when they can.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 34-21 Toledo. It's going to be a good game, though, folks. Northern Illinois is not a joke. They're a good team, but Toledo, if they hit it just right, they are like on it like white as on rice. They're a fast-scoring team. I tip my cap to them. All right, so now let's start going to the evening-style games. James Madison travels to Statesboro. I kind of know where you're going on this one, Matt, but who wins, James Madison or Georgia Southern?
I'm actually going to go with James Madison on this one, man. I think James Madison is going to pull us off. They have having a great season. Even so, Georgia Southern has had a better than expected season as well. But Georgia Southern is about to play James Madison, so it's going to be a different story. But James Madison is just going to have the way with him, and James Madison is going to win 38-10.
Woo, that's a big score. All right.
Yes.
This is the matchup that everybody's waiting for. Number 5, UGA travels to Austin, Texas to take on the number 1 ranked Texas Longhorns. Quinn Ewers is playing. Guys, get your tickets now because the cheapest they have is $582 a ticket.
This game.
So this game is going to be Texas is only favored by 5 points.
This is the primetime game. This is
7:30 ABC. This is prime time.
This is whoever wins, they're gonna be number 1 in the country game. That's what this is.
This is gonna be who gets snubbed, the number 1 seed, I think. In the 12
I'm gonna go with UGA here. I'm gonna go with UGA here, man.
Really?
Yes, and I will tell you why. I will go UGA.
Okay.
I just think UGA. I think that I just overall like their team a lot better than Texas. I like Texas. Texas has a great team right now with their receivers. But I think UGA is built to stop them. I think UGA is built to run the ball a lot more efficiently. But Texas is having a great year on the ground as well. I mean, we got 2. This is going to be a heavyweight knockout, man. This is definitely going to be a heavyweight knockout fight. But I'm going to go with UGA here. I'm going to go 34-31 UGA.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a good one.
I'm gonna All right, I got you on this one, okay? I'm going to say Texas wins. And my final score, and this is where I'm having trouble with my final score, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 28-24. Texas wins.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really good game, though. I'm looking forward to it, man. That's going to be, oh my God, man. You know what you and I need to do? Tweet live during the game. So, like, you and I will just tweet randomly. Yeah, we'll do that, guys. Matt and myself, we're going to tweet during the Georgia-Texas game. Stay tuned for that. All right. I got, now, this is not, there's only one reason and one reason why I'm only picking this, okay? Colorado State is traveling to Air Force. It is actually going to be a snow game.
Ooh.
Temperatures at time of kickoff will be 36 degrees, falling to a nice brisk 29 degrees. There is a 45% chance of snow. The only reason why I'm calling it because it's a snow game. Look, Air Force is 1-5. They're terrible. But what do you think? Colorado State or Air Force? Who do you think is going to win that game?
I'm gonna go Colorado State here, man. Colorado State at least shows some kind of a fight against Colorado. I just think Colorado State has a grittier team. Air Force, they just don't have it this year. They don't have the horses, so to speak. I think Colorado's going to win this game, 28-14 here. I mean, it's not going to be a blowout, but I think they'll win by more than two. They'll win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay, I like it. All right, the last game of the night, and the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because it is the last game of the night. It's TCU at Utah. Look, Utah's quarterback, folks, if you ask him to go play one more year in college football, I'm going to tell you, you are blind. Cam Rising, he's out for the year. Just let it go, dude. You're 8. You don't. I mean, you've played an entire career without being healthy. Just let it go. You're not going to play at the next level. Let it go. Even if you filed for that 8th year red shirt, whatever malarkey that goes on, you're going to get hurt again. Cam Rising is let it go. What do you think? Do you think TCU somehow pulls a rabbit out of its hat and beats Utah, or does Utah win?
The Horned Frogs. Nah, I don't see it. I just think Utah is the better team. Utah has the better rushing attack. I mean, I think Utah's running back right now has more yards than their whole stable of running backs combined. Utah is just a better team. Utah's going to win this one. I'd say 28-17.
I said 28-14 Utah.
28-17.
It's not a pretty situation for either regardless, but hey. All right, Matt, so I got a game you and I are going to go to this weekend, so pack your bags. We're going to New Orleans. Why? Because the Rice at Tulane game is the low price of $1.
Oh.
So I got us some tickets for $1. No, I'm just kidding. That's the price. It's $1. The cheapest ticket I found is $1 for that game. Tulane's they're gonna open up a can of whoop ass on Rice. Look, Rice.
They are.
I don't know when was the last time I could really truly say I was impressed with Rice. I'm thinking 2014 was the last time. I'm thinking that far. I don't know. I mean, it might be different, but I just don't know. What do you think? Do you think Tulane really beats down on Rice, or do you think Rice makes it competitive?
I think Tulane is going to beat down on Rice, man. I can see Tulane winning this one.
I'm saying 56-10.
I'll say 41-10. 41-10.
Now,
I don't think Rice score more than 10 points here. I just don't.
I don't either. Now, if Rice comes out and they're the biggest goose egg you imagine, and then like Tulane does what they did, last week where they scored 70. God, if you an FBS organization loses 70-0, you better just forget about asking for that pink slip. Just go ahead and say, "Here, I'm done." Walk out by halftime if you're down that bad. But
that's
yeah, I no. Look,
tough.
I've been a part of blowouts. The worst game that I had ever played in that I lost, we lost 63-6. So I had to run 63 stadiums the next day. Don't recommend it for anybody. All right, Matt. So tomorrow we have a really good guest lined up. His name is Jim. Him and I have already confirmed he will be on at 6:30 his time, 7:30 our time. Now, look, guys, the reason why I say it's special is because he's normally closed actually on Fridays. And his exact answer was, it's not like he doesn't have gloves to repair. But look, Jim has a life. And I told him last time when I texted him, because he actually got overbooked and he had completely forgot. So he had said he was doing all these things. And I said, look, I have 4 kids. If you have any opportunity to live life and be, do something good for yourself, go do it. I'm not going to be the one least bit mad. Matt and I are not mad that you that you want to live your life.
Absolutely.
Look, we know what it's like to be stressed. We absolutely know. I mean, Matt works 2 jobs right now. He has to deal with this ugly face right here. And look at him. He's shaking his head. Has to deal with this ugly face here. And then also, Matt, he has a beautiful daughter. She's a handful now.
They all are.
Excuse me. I didn't mean to sneeze, folks. All right, Matt. So with that being said, guys, we're going to quickly go over the schedule. Look, next Tuesday, the 22nd, we do have Pete he's the general manager of the Columbus Clingstones,
Okay.
AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. He will be on. We have an extended episode. And guys, I'm gonna let you know what his name is right now, so you know.
Okay.
Let me pull it up, okay? His name is Brandon Kravitz. Okay. Brandon is the Orlando Magic pregame radio host.
Okay.
He contributes for the NBA, NBA Live, NFL, and MLB contributor for RotoWire, Fantasy Fix every NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. He also is live Monday through Friday on In the Zone, which is FM 96.9 in Orlando. So he is coming on for 15 minutes. We only have him for 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to having him on. Cannot wait to talk with him. He will be on Tuesday as well. So we have an extended episode. All right. So now the 25th, folks, next Friday, we have Rich Miano from the University of Hawaii. He will talk some more Mountain West Conference, realignment, Pac-12. You guys, I want you to ask questions because I promise you he's got some good insight. Looking forward to that one. And then the 29th comes. Matt, I need to get your questions probably the next day or two.
Okay.
What you want to ask Brian?
I got him. I'll make sure I go ahead and send them over to you, man. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that one. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, because I got to give it to Brian so he can start formulating the answers. And remember, folks, Brian Kajiyama is going to communicate through a photogenic voice. It is through a computer-generated device. He has to type the questions in advance and type the answers. He will communicate that way through us. Great person. Brian is the man, guys. You've already seen he has commented tonight. I'm so thankful to have him as a friend of mine.
Yeah. And
I cannot wait for you guys to have him on. Matt, I want to ask you real quick. Do you want to do an episode on November the 1st? Or do you want to? I don't want to do Halloween because I'm taking the girls trick-or-treating. Do you want to do November 1st episode?
Yeah, we could do that. Let's do it. What day is that?
What day is it, babe? That's your daughter's birthday. It is Holden's birthday, yes. But, folks, Holden,
let her have her day.
It's Friday the 1st, Saturday the 2nd. You'll be here. Well, you should be here because it's Holden's birthday party. Maybe you and I will do a quick little episode on Saturday. We'll iron the details out.
That'd be nice. We could do that.
Yeah, we'll iron the details on that one. So,
we can do that.
Guys, we've benched your ear for an hour and 43 minutes. We have enjoyed every minute. You got to hear from Ashley Lelie what it's like to be drafted into the NFL. You know, what's the differences in franchises, organization are run, completely different. Arthur Blank he's a phenomenal owner. He runs his organization differently than the owners of Denver. The owners of Denver and Atlanta run differently than the Niners. The Niners run differently than the Raiders, which everybody knows. Everybody runs better than the Raiders, but it's just because the Raiders are a dumpster fire. But that's just our thoughts.
Story for another day.
So, guys, we are going to go ahead and call it a night. But I want to tell you this: we have had so much fun with you, Matt. We topped out at 103 viewers tonight. All 103. We appreciate every single one of you. I can tell you, I know where about 50 of them came from was the state of Hawaii. So my people in Hawaii, I love you. Thank you so much for watching our show tonight. It really means a lot to us. Guys, the giveaway is still going on for now. I've actually bumped it up, Matt, to a $30 gas gift card.
I've heard.
So we need to have a total from now until November 25th. We need a total of 15 YouTube subscribers. That's all you need, 15. And if you are selected as the winner of the subscriber, you get that $30 gas gift card. It's not a cheesy gift card. It's a real gas gift card, like a BP or a Quick Trip or a Racetrack, whatever, right? Good quality name, right? So you'll get that. And then also we are going to, if you get us to that magic number of 500 followers on Twitter, you win a Sportz Nutz prize pack. And we don't know, we're not going to tell you everything, but you're going to want, I promise you, it's stuff you're not going to want to miss out on. It could be some type of sporting event tickets. Just throwing it out there. So we will have that. In the meantime, Matt and I are looking, like I said, mid-November.
Yes.
possibly to do a live on location at
That'd be
Tequila's. So be prepared to get up there. We want you all there because we're going to give away merchandise at the live on location. We're going to have guest interactions. We may even have a giveaway of some sort to have you come on and debate with us for 15 minutes. So
yeah, you guys would love that.
Stay tuned for that. You know, Matt and I look. Matt's going to start promoting the heck out of it. I'm going to as well. We're going to get together and kind of formulate the date and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, my friends, I'm going to tell you now, peace up, A-Town down. Why? Because we're AT aliens. We're natural Atlanta folks. The greatest city ever walked the face of the earth is Atlanta. For our good friends, Ashley Lelie from the state of Hawaii, from everybody, which everybody in Hawaii says mahalo for you guys watching. For this beautiful man right here, Mr. Matt Thomas. For me, I'm Brandon saying we love you. We appreciate you. And Matt, what do you tell people not to get done again?
Don't get flagged.
Yes, don't get flagged. Don't do something stupid. If you do something stupid, we're not bailing you out. So keep your nose clean. Don't call us if you do something stupid. Come on now. We want you here next. We want you here for next episode. Remember, tomorrow, 7:30. Only a 30-minute episode. Please watch our show because you're going to love it. Go subscribe at the Sportz Nutz 176. Until then, take care, guys, and we'll see you then. So get off our show. Go to bed. Matt, it's past your bedtime. Why are you still here?
Yeah, it's 9:15.
Why are you still, guys? Come on. Bye. Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career